I truly love remembering and putting myself into the past, but I do not like to reflect. That being said, I've been asked to reflect on something very bad that happened to me, and I am willing to oblige. I will tell the story, my story of the Blue Field incident. I was miserable with my life. I needed to escape. I was a rooted astrologer working in a small town at the time. It was a very unsuccessful, lonely time in my life. And my friend John was telling me to submit an application to this place where he was working, where he was at. It was called the Blue Field. There had been a gnome on my elementary school playground. It was a very gooey, gurgly thing in the wood chips. I took it home and took care of it. Many empaths I met don't believe me when I tell them that. I hate those empaths. I hate them for not believing me. People would get mad at me because I'd say I don't believe in an afterlife. I believe in gnomes. That, to me, is the only true calling we get from the other side. The only thing from the other side that we can touch, dance with. I do get emotional when I talk about the gnomes. The year was 1994. It was July, I think. They had been up and running for a while by then, but I had heard about it, about Blue Field, about what they did there. And so when I submitted my application, I just said the truth, that I had extensive experience with gnomes. It was the grandest invitation of my life. It was the only invitation of my life. I had never been invited to a place before, and now I was invited. I spent 15 years there before it happened. Those were the best 15 years of my life. There was a community there, a sense of love for each other, for the gnomes. I was in heaven. I mean, to spend all of my time with gnomes and to be free with them. Now, we had our duties. We were busy, for sure. But it was mostly not busy. It was mostly joy. It was mostly frolicking and tickling, zetching humps. It was a magic experience to be with the gnomes. I don't know when the gnomes started hugging us, but they did. They hugged very tight. It felt so nice to hug the gnomes. I recall hugging gnomes and losing track of hours, of days. It was December 21st, obviously, 2010. And I'm sorry, but I don't remember dates around this. I remember details. I remember waking up from a very long dream, and I was on the ground, and I saw Marg, who had onboarded me to the property, actually. I saw her, and she was bleeding a lot, and I believe that was the moment when I realized she was deceased. I looked around me, and I think the gravity of the situation hit me upon seeing the dead bodies, and I started to drag myself away. I remember the gnomes calling me as I dragged myself, and I felt so bad, so guilty about leaving the gnomes, about not hugging the gnome anymore. I don't know how I didn't go back. The farmer who found me, he said I actually was trying to make my way back to Bluefield. When he saw me, I had felt so bad. I was going back to apologize, to hug the gnome again and say sorry for running off. That is the spell they put you under. I think of it every day. I think of it every minute, really. And the strangest thing is, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me in the end, but every day I wish I could go back to Blue.